Yes guys, welcome back to another video. 6 things that we learned from Arsenal 1, Chelsea 2. I apologise it's a little bit dark. I'm up on the roof again, just got back home. If you watch the kickoff show, the True Geordie's football channel, it was a sick stream. Hugh Wizzy was there, Arsenal fan. He was a little bit upset. Chelsea come from behind at the Emirates to make it 2 London scalps, not just 2 London scalps, 2 North London scalps, reminding everyone that London is in fact blue. I mean, it's the end of the decade and Chelsea end it with 11 trophies, Spurs end it with none, Arsenal end it with, I can count it on one hand, but I can't even be bothered because it doesn't matter. What we're here to talk about today is Arsenal 1, Chelsea 2. Huge win for Frank Lampard's Chelsea at the Emirates Stadium to finish 2019 with a massive victory that keeps us in the top 4. So when I was watching the game, I wasn't feeling good about what I was seeing. Arsenal scored what was a pretty nice goal. David Luiz turned up and had one of those kind of performances where it's like, okay, we get it, we understand you got a bit of quality, you wanted to prove a point, but at the end of the day, Frank Lampard's Chelsea well and truly had the last laugh. And the first thing that I'm going to stick into a yellow box to start this video, because I feel like I'm starting this video with positive energy. We're starting it with the acknowledgement of yet another win, only team in London with a European Cup. London is very, very blue. Hit the like button, by the way, Chelsea fans and fans of the GBFC channel, just why not? It's the final game of the decade and I just feel like you might as well flip and do it. Subscribe if you're new around here. The yellow box, the way we started the game. The reason why I've given it a yellow and not a red is because we actually adapted within the match, which is something that I think is absolutely key. And in the past, when Chelsea haven't been doing well, playing with certain systems, playing with certain formations, with personnel on the field, we've been frightened to change things until the latter stages. And the 3-4-3, I ate a slice of humble pie. I got it wrong in my preview. I thought it would work against Arsenal the same way that it did against Spurs. But for the first 30 minutes of that match, Arsenal wanted the game a lot more than Chelsea did. They were fighting for every single ball, winning all of the tackles, playing the key passes, much better than Chelsea were, and defensively, Chelsea were not at the races, anywhere near the same level as we were against Spurs. The reason I've given it a yellow box is because Frank didn't just wait for half time. He didn't just wait for the hour mark, which is what a lot of managers in modern football do. They wait until 60 minutes and then if things don't work until that point, then they start to change things. Frank didn't do that. He saw it wasn't working. Emerson was the weak point positionally. He wasn't hugging the touchline the same way that Marcos Alonso did, which meant that in terms of what bought Chelsea that width in the game against Spurs was Marcos Alonso's positioning. It wasn't the same case. So what did Frank do? He saw that it wasn't working after 30 minutes, brings off Emerson, brings on Georgie Neo, and it changed the game for Chelsea. Now, box number 2, I've got to give this man a box because he is that vocal leader on the pitch. He's the man that gets involved in all the nitty-gritty, the little fights that go on. Georgie Neo is always a part of it, and in terms of a positive, Arsenal were trying to get him sent off. I've seen numerous social media posts saying, oh, Jorginho shouldn't have scored that goal because he shouldn't have. Give over, will you? For goodness sake. Jorginho came on. It changed the shape of the way Chelsea played. We went from a 3-4-3 into a 4-3-3. Jorginho comes into the centre of the park, and in a game like this, when you're 1-0 down in a London derby, Arsenal were by far the better team within the majority of that first half, or at least for the whole of the first half. Even when the shape changed, Chelsea got a bit better in terms of actually keeping hold of the ball a bit more, but Arsenal was still the better team. Jorginho came on, and he can try to control the game again from the middle. He was a leader on the pitch vocally. You could see him getting involved with absolutely everything. Gets Chelsea's equaliser to get us back into the game at the stage in the game where I thought it was disappearing from us. I thought we were seeing the same old monotonous crosses into the box, the same old poor decision making in the final third. Jorginho watched the ball come over from Mason Mount's free kick. Leno comes for it, completely misses the ball, but who is there following up? Even though it looked as though there was no chance the ball was going to make it all the way through to him, Leno should have came and collected it. If not, one of the Arsenal defenders should have dealt with it. Jorginho followed up and he was there when we needed him most to equalise for Chelsea, to get us back in the game and give us the onus to push on and try and win it. Speaking of moving on to try and win it, let's talk about our striker. I was on the kickoff, and if you haven't seen it, you should go and check out some of the highlights. I'm sure they'll be clipping some bits and pieces up. But I was getting frustrated with Tammy because I don't feel as though sometimes when we need him to be involved in the game, I don't always think he's in the faces of the defenders in the same way that a Diego Costa or a Didier Drogba used to be. I just have to, again, just take my hat off and say, when Tammy Abraham got the chance, when the ball actually found it to him in the final third, the way that he controlled himself to finish that goal, to put Chelsea 2-1 up in that London derby, the composure was absolutely exquisite. The way he took that goal was fantastic. And even towards the end of the game, I wasn't seeing the hold-up play throughout the majority of that match that I wanted to see from Tammy Abraham. I wasn't seeing him bully David Luiz the way I wanted him to, or Mustafi as the Arsenal centre-back. I wanted to see him doing more of it. He got the goal. It gave him the confidence to go and bully those defenders, to hold up the ball, to win it in the air for the final few minutes of the game, where Chelsea were looking for him to hold it up, to be able to bide the time, to be able to offload it to Willian, to counter-attack. Yeah, we didn't get the third goal, but who flipping cares? We've gone to North London, got another huge 3 points in the race for the top 4, and Frank Lampard yet again squashes all of the rumours that Chelsea can't do it against the top 6. We've done it again. 2 wins in the space of a week away from home against one of the so-called big teams. You might be able to sit there and say that Arsenal are down in 12th, they're below Newcastle, they're no longer one of the big teams in the Premier League. Regardless, it was still a very tricky game. Mikel Arteta's Arsenal, credit to them, there were improvements. The result doesn't really suggest an improvement, but there were definitely improvements within that Arsenal team. And I do feel as though they wanted it more than us in that first half. But the way that Chelsea came out in the second half again, credit, and we move into box number 4 to Super Frankie Lampard. I feel as though it's a little bit juxtaposed every time I make a video right now, particularly 6 things we learned. One minute I'm saying that Frank got it wrong. The next minute I'm saying that Frank Lampard got it right. Today, whatever he said in the halftime dressing room, it 100% worked, because the mentality of those Chelsea players when they came out for that second half was just complete stark contrast to what we saw in the first half. Chelsea looked lacklustre in the first half. We were never close enough to win the ball back from Arsenal. We were pressing, but we were pressing on our own terms. We weren't pressing on the speed in which Arsenal were trying to play at. And Arsenal were passing the ball around well. They were finding little pockets of space. Mesut Ozil, yet again, turned up and had one of the best halves of football I've seen of him in an Arsenal shirt. And I think a large reason as to why that was the case is because Chelsea weren't at the races. I know it's a phrase that's overused in football, but we weren't close enough. We weren't tight enough. We weren't winning the balls back when we were pressing in order to try and get that final outcome. In the second half, I don't know exactly what it was, but every single player put in an extra inch. And when you're closing down and you're actually closer to win the ball back, you force the Arsenal players to make mistakes. And I think if we look at how the game transitioned, Arsenal were very comfortably in control in that first half because Chelsea weren't tight enough, we weren't pressing well enough. The beginning of the second half, yeah, we didn't score for like 30 odd minutes or whatever it was, but we were still getting closer and closer. We were closing the Arsenal players down more to give them less time and space on the ball, to make the errors earlier so that we would regain possession. In that second half, we dominated the possession, and then at the end of it, we created the chances, we had more shots on goal than Arsenal did, and at the end of the day, we managed to score more goals. Chelsea go away with the win. So that is box number 4. Box number 5, I'm going to have to give it to the debutant. He came on, and I thought to myself, Frank, what are you playing at? We're losing a London derby away at Arsenal, and you've decided to bring on Tarrant Lamptey for a debut. Tarrant Lamptey came on, and he was absolutely brilliant. He brought a new energy to Chelsea. He wasn't afraid to go forward. He was progressive with absolutely everything that he did, and I think he had a brilliant game. He comes on and he's got to deal with Aubameyang, one of the best strikers in world football, one of the Premier League's top marksmen. Tarrant Lamptey comes on. I can't even believe I'm saying it. I didn't understand what Frank was doing at the time. This bench is really shaky, I do apologise, but Lamptey, he was brilliant, and yet again, it just emphasises this whole thing that we've got going on right now at Chelsea. Since I made this YouTube channel, we've based a lot of the content off of this feel-good factor that's going on at Chelsea, and a lot of that is down to seeing new faces, young Chelsea academy players that are coming in, taking the blue shirt, knowing what it means to play for the club, being excited the same way that fans are, and delivering performances. Yet again today, against all of the odds, in a game where, quite frankly, you don't expect to be making your debut when you're 1-0 down away at Arsenal. It's not the kind of stereotypical game you expect to come in for. You expect it to be like Billy Gilmour at the start of the season, when he comes on when Chelsea are already 2-0 up against Sheffield United. That's what you expect as a youngster coming into this Chelsea team. Tarrant Lamptey has been given the mantle battle when we're 1-0 down. He has come on, he's hardly put a foot wrong, and yet again, it's just another name to add into this conglomerate and this pot of just youthful brilliance that is coming through right now at Chelsea. Yes, I know that I'm contradicting what I said after the game against Southampton. That's just the nature of the beast right now when it comes to following Chelsea. We will win games away from home, and we've got to get rid of this voodoo that comes with playing at Stamford Bridge. We all understand that. I do feel as though it's more of a mental thing, and again, probably a tactical thing, and how does Frank deal with teams that come and be awkward at Stamford Bridge? That's what we got to deal with at this moment in time, but we've only got to talk about what was put in front of us today, and it was 80 minutes where Arsenal were by far the better team. Tarrant Lamptey comes on after 60 odd minutes, and he made a real positive impact in this Chelsea side. Box number 6, we have got to give it to the man who came off the bench and played extremely well, Callum HudsonOdoi. He's coming for a lot of stick, me included. I even suggested that he should go out on loan after that game against Southampton. What we saw from HudsonOdoi today was an extremely professional performance. It wasn't a performance where he's panicking, thinking, blimey, I've been given 20 odd minutes and I've got to come on and do something extraordinary to put myself into contention to start the game away at Brighton. Callum HudsonOdoi's performance was very contained. It was very well managed. He wasn't trying to do anything crazy. He was taking players on, which is one of the best elements of Callum HudsonOdoi's game. He was patient on the ball. He waited to offload it, or he took a player on. He created opportunities for Chelsea. We saw some great dynamic passing from HudsonOdoi. That is testament to his character. That is testament to his ability as a footballer. And he really did come on and change the game in an attacking sense for Chelsea. I thought he was absolutely exceptional when he came on in that second half. And we can say all we want about the output. He hasn't scored a Premier League goal yet. Can he really justify getting paid 6 figures a week? Forget all of that. What we've just seen again there today from Frank Lampard's Chelsea is another massive win against a rival, against a club that, even though they're in the bottom half of the table, Arsenal want to be where Chelsea are right now. And under Frank Lampard, once again, we have shown that despite being a season in transition, despite knowing that we need to spend money in January, with such a young team, we've gone to the Emirates, made it 5 wins at the Emirates Stadium. What an incredible end to this decade for Chelsea. It was a huge performance in that second half, and it just shows that between the balance of some of the older players, the experienced players, Georgie Neo coming on for a massive leadership performance in that second half, the youthfulness of HudsonOdoi, the youthfulness of Tammy Abraham, brilliant finish from him as well, 14 Premier League goals to end 2019. Tammy Abraham's debut season at Chelsea as their number 9, their top striker, and he ends the year, not even the season, with 14 Premier League goals. Check out the 6 boxes that are on the screen right now. I want to see more of this in 2020. Frank Lampard's Chelsea, despite the home form, despite the ups and downs, the juxtaposition in form, whatever it may be, I'm absolutely flipping buzzing with that win today. It was a huge performance from Chelsea in that second half. We did everything we needed to do. We ground deep, we dug, and we got the 3 points when we needed it most. Wolves went to Anfield, they got beat, but they also put in a good performance to show that Chelsea are not guaranteed a spot in the top 4. We need to fix the home form. We know that teams around us are going to pick up wins. It's the nature of the Premier League this season. Liverpool are the runaway winners. We already know that. Any Liverpool fan who tells you otherwise, they're just being paranoid about the fact that they have slipped in the past. It's not going to happen this season. Chelsea are in their own battle. It's a battle for the top 4, and today we went to the Emirates. We won. Even though we didn't dominate the game for the majority of it, we did it the Chelsea way. We dug deep, we fought for the result, and we got the 3 points. So yeah, that is my 6 things that we learned from Arsenal 1, Chelsea 2. This is the final 6 things we learned of 2019. Hit the like button if you did enjoy it. Subscribe to the George Benson Football channel if you're new around here. I make new videos about Chelsea every single day. 2020 is going to be a big year for me. It's going to be a big year for the channel, which means it'll be a big year for you guys as the consumers of this content that I post on a daily basis. Consumers of this content. This sounds like I'm doing like a boardroom interview for some sort of managerial job at a company. It's not really like that, to be fair. We're all just here mate to mate talking to one another about Chelsea. Hopefully you guys did enjoy it. I will see you all very soon. Tomorrow we start to look forward to the game against Brighton and transfer rumours. I mean, Jadon Sancho, I don't think I've commented on his Instagram enough. I don't know if I've done my job well enough, to be honest, trying to get Jadon Sancho to see the comment and to consider a move to Chelsea. It would be lovely. But anyway, Arsenal 1, Chelsea 2, 6 things that we learned. I will see you all later. Bye-bye.